we're just on our way home from a cool adventure, and I'm just going to show you a few sites of like oil plants, oil batteries, that kind of stuff. I think this is just a gathering station, like a compressor, metering station maybe, because there's no engine compressors running, right? But that's one of the things you see on oil field roads, big old pipeline manifold and stuff. And I'll pretend I know more, but I won't. So now we'll show you some other stuff after. So here's another small site. We got some logging happening beside us there. Oh, actually there's tons over on the other side. And then this, all these grain silo things, these are all for sand, for when they're doing well fracks. So you don't see these all the time everywhere in the bushes, but here they are here. And on this side is a whole freaking stack of logs. How many are there? A lot. Yeah. So that's also some of the things you see when you're driving down Oilfield Road. We're waiting to see a grizzly bear. That'll be fun. So this is just a freshwater pond, which is nothing crazy, but you see it's actually got a liner all the way around the edge. So this is a lined pond with game fence so no animals can get into it. And they use this for freshwater, usually for fracking oil wells. So some oil company will have paid for this, put it all up, made it lined so that nothing can get in or out. And that's another thing you see sometimes on the edge of the road. And those concrete things that you just saw on the edge by the fence, those round dome things, those were pipeline weights to keep a pipeline to sink from floating up when it goes through muskeg. And that's just battery. So a well with a couple, whoops. So like, yeah, just there's two wells and the facilities to get it up to the plant, which is just up there. And we're gonna show you a picture of that too. Hey, so coming up on oil plant, we'll open up the window, I think, and record through there. But this is a fairly big gas plant, oil battery, tanks and compressors and all kinds of junk like that. And that processing facility, well, actually handling, not really processing. All right, so tanks and compressors and compressor buildings, security gate on there. Those big square buildings, those are the far ones have exhaust stacks on them. Those are compressors, and these other ones are processing ones. And these big silver things in the front, those are actually big massive radiators that are laying down facing the sky with big fans and their coolers inside those, and a whole bunch of piping. So that's a very close, boring look at a gas plant. Okay, one more little thing, and then a little gas plant after that. But anyone who lives here will recognize this one because it's right in the middle of the freaking road. Little tiny old battery right in the middle of the road here. So this thing has been producing for decades. And then we'll go past one little plant, be done. And here's the last gas plant we're driving by. Used to work here lots 25 years ago. So this is not really exciting, but that's what a gas plant looks like. This little buildings and stuff with pipes and valves and compressors and all kinds of things. But that's what you see when you're driving through the oil field roads. And sometimes you see a homely driver too, but not always. So I've done some other footage of driving past the oil plants and stuff like that. Now, oh, well, there's another one I'll drive past here. For those of you who don't see them very often, if I can get my camera situated where you can see what's happening. So there's some tanks and manifold stuff. And in the back there, those white tanks, those would be LPG, like low pressure gas, propane, that kind of stuff that gets stored. Well, how's it going, everybody? Here's a spot I drive by quite often that's commonplace in some places and never in others. So this is a multi-well pad. There are 12 pump jacks. on this location, all working. So, oil wells in production. That's what allows you to drive your vehicle, or run an electric car for that matter. They don't work without oil either. And finally, or the grand finale of the day, I guess, is the drilling rig. This is a pretty big one, this one. So Ensign 148. I don't know lots about this rig or anything about this rig at all. But as far as a drilling rig, this is a big one and a new one. So anyone who hasn't seen one before, I don't know even what to point out. The main part underneath the rig, like where it says Ensign 148, that's called the dog house. And below there is the substructure. This rig looks like it's a pad rig, which means it can drill a whole bunch of wells on the same location. It just moves it over. They call it a pad when there's multiple wells in the same place for the same pad. So on the left-hand side, those are cement bins for when they're doing a cement job. They cement the pipe into the ground at each stage, the casing into the ground. And then on the left side is well sites where everyone lives, like the company man and not the workers, but everybody, like geology and things like that. They live there and they communicate to the guys on the rig. And this is a big derrick, big heavy derrick. These, I think it's a triple, and these have got that double long pipe. So instead of doing 3 stands of pipe, it's 2 stands. You can see in the middle there that there's a joint. I can't see it in my camera. Up there is the monkey board, so the guy that's working up there inside that shelter, you can't see him, and then at the very top is what they call the crown. But that's what a drilling rig looks like. And on the back side there, underneath the side, in the very back underneath the shelter, in that area, that's where the mud tanks will be, where they're using what they call mud, but it's basically like a cutting fluid for when they're drilling through whatever, and it holds all the cuttings in suspension back up to the surface, and then it's run through a shaker and screens and centrifuge to get all the cuttings out, and then they reuse it to drill some more. Anyway, I used to run intercom systems on drilling rigs that went from the doghouse to the consultant over to the left. I had them on rigs all over Western Canada. So I've been on lots and lots and lots of rigs of every size, from tiny ones to big ones. And this is a big one. They're loading pipe up or taking it down. That white thing moving up there toward, that's called a catwalk, where it's going up, but they'd be probably laying pipe down, I'm not quite sure. Anyway, there is a little bit of a tour from a self-proclaimed know-it-all expert that doesn't really know too much. But if you've never seen one, that's what they look like. So that's 3.5 minutes of, there's a drilling rig. Cool, eh? But that whole lease, man, if she gets rainy, she gets muddy. But this time of year, in the summertime, nice weather, it's a good job. And that's me. So thanks for checking it out. Hopefully it was entertaining to at least 2 people in the world, or a little bit informative. I'm no expert, but there's lots of guys that you just never ever see them, right? Because they're in a different part of the world. So hopefully you enjoyed that. Talk to you later. Make good choices, and we'll see you later.